Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back here in a new video. Today I'm going to show you, as every single Sunday, the pairs that I will be interested in trading the next week. So actually for the last week I took 2 trades, but I'll film a video about it soon, so it will come the next week. I also vlogged when I took these trades here, so actually let me hide those here because we don't need it in this video. You'll need it in the video that will come out the next weeks. So let's actually start with the video by showing you what I will be trading the next week, and the first one is NZDUSD. And if you are in my Telegram channel, you already know that I took this trade here last week, and as I said, I'll make a video on it as well. So on NZDUSD, we can see that the weekly time frame is bearish, with this one being the lower high, this one being the lower low. Last week I expected that this was gonna sell to the downside after a retest to this area of interest here, which on the daily it's the previous structure point, the area of interest here, with many touches such as 1, 2, 3, and the neckline of the head and shoulders, which is a reversal pattern that shows the price will head to the downside after the retest. So last week we got the retest, we rejected it, but we didn't go to the downside as planned. So I think that this will be the week where it will go to the downside, because we had the weekly candlestick retesting that zone. So I believe that the next week will sell to the downside. This is the 4-hour time frame. What I'm expecting is a break and retest under this round psychological level 57,500. So break, retest to then sell to the downside. Very high probability trade setup. In fact, it's my favorite one again. The round psychological level has been way respected the last week. We can see that it respected it here as a resistance, and look here as a support how many times. So it is actually something that we need to respect again. So on the lower time frame, the trade that I just explained will look like something like this. 1-hour time frame, break under the EMA, under the round psychological level, to use it as a resistance to sell to the downside. So this right here is a very high probability trade setup. My take profit would be at this area of interest here with 1 and 2 touches. So that was NZDUSD for the next week, which is very high probability. So make sure to add it to your watch list, because this right here, I believe that I will take it on my accounts. Then the second one is GBPCAD. GBPCAD is a very high probability trade setup as well. So the weekly time frame here, it's very bullish, with this one being the higher high and this one being the higher low. But we can see that the last week the weekly time frame closed like a rejection candlestick from this zone here. So it's actually creating a resistance at this zone here. So whenever we have a higher high, we need to have a higher low. So in this case right here, I will trade the higher low on the weekly time frame. So that's my prediction. And if we look closer at the daily time frame, we can see that the daily it is bearish, with this one being the lower high and this one being the lower low. And we are creating that lower high at this strong level of resistance, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, and resistance once again. So I'm waiting for it to get used as a resistance once again. To get used as a resistance again, and on the 4-hour we can see that it's in fact bearish as well on the 4-hour. And last week it looks like on Friday it actually rejected the area of interest, the previous structure point on the 4-hour, and the EMA as well. So it's actually a very nice trade that it's almost ready to take. If I were in a live market right now, I would take it 100%, because look how clean it is on the 4-hour time frame, and look how strong those resistance touches here are. So this right here is a very high probability trade setup. Hopefully when the market opens it doesn't push to the downside yet, but it gives us a further retest to then let me actually take this trade, because it's a very high probability, as I just said. So GBPCAD, guys, trust me, go ahead and add it to your watch list, because it's very clean. Then guys, I have GBPAUD. GBPAUD, it's kinda similar to GBPCAD, but we're bearish on almost all the markets. The weekly, it's bullish because this is the higher low and this is the higher high, but we are actually in a downtrend if you look closer. The daily time frame, it's bearish, creating lower highs and lower lows. Last week we had a big bearish engulfing candlestick on the weekly last week we had a big bearish engulfing candlestick on Thursday. On Friday we got the retest of this nice area of interest here, which is a zone of support, 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 support. Now we're gonna use it as a resistance. The 4-hour looks the same as GBPCAD, very bearish, retesting the area of interest, retesting the previous structure point and almost the EMA. I will wait for a further retest to then wait for my shift of structure on the 1 hour, which is already bearish, or the 30 minutes to then take this trade to the downside and target a 1, 2, a target and 1, 2, 2. Very, very high probability trade as well. Very clean markets next week. We can see that all of them are very nice patterns. They are almost at the entry point, all of the pairs that I have the next week. So as of right now, 3 out of 3 pairs that you gotta watch carefully. So make sure to add them. Then I have another one that it's almost at the entry point, which is NZDJPY. NZDJPY, on the weekly time frame, we can see that we are bullish, with this one being the higher low and this one being the higher high. I believe that the next week we will create a new higher high, so we will fill this week left on the previous weekly candlestick. Then on the daily time frame we are bullish as well. We can see that we are in a trending market, higher highs and higher lows. I'm gonna wait for what you guys are guessing already, a retest on the daily on this area of interest here, with many touches using it as a resistance and as a support as well. So retest of this area of interest, previous structure point as well, to continue creating higher highs and higher lows. And the 4-hour guys is also bullish as well, so we have 3 time frames out of 3 bullish in our favor. So what I'm gonna wait is simply a further pullback if it's possible on the 4-hour, deeper in this area of interest, to then wait for my sheet of structure to take it and target the 4-hour high, which will be a 1 to 3, which is actually very, very good in trading. So that's what I'm gonna wait for the next week. We will see what will happen the next week. So actually 4 pairs that are very, very clean. Very, very clean pairs the next week, guys. Look at this area of interest here. So actually the next week I believe that I will finally make my 1K in a week, which is my goal. And the goal for this month is to make 1.5K, $1,500 in just 1 month. And next month to make $2,000 as well. So those are the goals for January and February, but don't get too ahead of time. Let's focus on January. Let's focus day by day, because we need to make 1,500 this month. So very, very focused, guys. So that was NZDJPY, and now I have one that's very similar to NZDJPY, which is USDJPY. USDJPY on the weekly time frame, we can see that we are bullish. We are at a higher high on the weekly time frame. The last week closed like a doji kinda, leaving a big wick to the upside. The daily, it's bullish, creating higher highs and higher lows. You guys already know what I'm waiting for, the retest to this area of interest here, to then buy the trade. The same exact thing as NZDJPY. The 4-hour is kinda similar as well, but if it does give us a further and deeper pullback inside this area of interest, it will turn bearish on the 4 hours, so we will see this one here, but my main priority will be NZDJPY because it's way cleaner. So that was a USDJPY as well. And now let's see the last pair, which is GBPUSD. On GBPUSD, on the weekly time frame, we are bullish, with this one being the higher high and this one being the higher low. On the daily, on the other hand, we are bearish, with this one being the lower high and this one being the lower low. On this one here, what I'm gonna wait for it to do, I'm gonna wait for sells, not to sell up here, because it might use this strong area of interest here as a support, but I'm gonna wait for a break on the daily time frame, so break under this area of interest, to then use it as a support, because it did so many times. Look, support, to use it as a resistance, because it used it as a resistance many times. 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and many times as well as a support. So actually, after that break down here, I will then look for, as I said, it to get used as a resistance, so the retest, and on the 4 hour it would look like something like this: break, retest, retest along with the EMA maybe, to then sell to the downside. Perfect trade, and I maybe will target a 1 to 2 because we don't know, maybe the weekly can reach this support zone here or not. So we will see what will happen the next week. But guys, my main priority, as I said, will be on the first 4 pairs for the next week. Hopefully I will take at least one of those and win it, because my goal, as I said, for this month is to make $1,500. If the next week I make 1K, I will be set for the month almost, because I will then need $500 left. So guys, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you're not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, join my Telegram channel because there I send live updates, always I send live updates. Follow me on my Instagram account as well. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.